UC Riverside, home of the Highlanders. NFHS Network brings you exciting coverage of boys baseball this afternoon as we'll be featuring the St. Anthony Saints from Long Beach and the Flintridge Prep Rebels. Good afternoon, everybody. I am David Gascon. Alongside is my broadcast partner, Manny Nunez. The Division 6 finals this afternoon here at the Plex. Two teams that really didn't think they'd be here, but at the end of the day, Manny, it's the last stand for both of these clubs.
Funny how these two teams got here to this point. They were one of the lower seeds coming into this bracket. The more funny story, though, St. Anthony, the way that they got here, definitely it's more of a historic run. 12 and 10 inning games just to get to this point. It's something phenomenal, so to speak. And, you know, for these two teams especially, both teams obviously fighting for the first title. But on the other end, for Flintridge Prep, same idea. They haven't been in this stature in about over 60 years. St. Anthony, first time ever in this program. So obviously one's going to walk away a winner, but obviously for these two teams, already enough of a feat to get here anyway.
And you mentioned the teams and how they've gotten here. St. Anthony's as a club this season, 18 and 10. They had a couple different streaks, and I mean good and for bad. They started the season off winning 6 games in a row. They lost 4 games during the course of the season, and now they're in the middle of their best winning streak. Obviously playing their best ball as of late, winning 6 in a row. They were second place in the Santa Fe division. They were a couple games back of Salesian, who took the crown. They were 8-1, but for St. Anthony, they were 5-4 on the flip side, though, for Flintridge Prep, 16-12, but all those records are pushed aside now because both these teams have a shot to play the division crown.
Yeah, these two teams, again, they're going to be fighting out to the finish, and it could come down to who's going to make the most mistakes or who really comes down on top and capitalizes near the end of this game.
Grant Granger's the opening pitch is underway here at the Plex. That first pitch, the breaking ball in there for a strike, and quickly Granger's ahead in the count, 0-1. Danny Chardee is leading things off for Flintridge Prep. Left-handed batter punches that one in right center field. It's going to drop in for a base hit, rounding first base. Then jamming on his brakes is Chardee. Leadoff base runner, though, for Flintridge Prep. A good start for them.
Yeah, for Prep, it's all about trying to get to their starting pitcher as quick as possible, and already wasting no time on 2 pitches for Chardee. Finding the gap down in right center. It was a ball that was really fat going down the pipe, and with that, a leadoff single for the Prep Rebels.
Up next is Hamilton Evans. Evans, the third baseman this afternoon for Flintridge Prep. We'll get you the starting lineups for both of these schools. Just give you some quick numbers on Granger. It'll be his 15th appearance of the season so far. A fastball outside and off the plate, 1-0 to Evans. Spoke to head coach for Flintridge Prep. It's a pickoff attempt, not in time. Flintridge Prep, over the course of the season, as we mentioned, 16-12, but had some key injuries to 2 of their best players, according to head coach Guillermo Gonzalez. I'm just fortunate to be here. But confidence is a scary thing in all walks of life, especially in baseball. It's so much mental as it is physical, and at the end of the day, it's fortunate for them to be here locked up with St. Anthony's. No score, top of the first inning. Granger paying close attention to Chardee over at first base.
And that's a great thing about high school sports, David. It doesn't matter how you seed. You're obviously starting off with a clean slate when you play in that second season, and records don't matter at this point. It's when you move on, lose, you go home, and that's the thing with even for St. Anthony's case. They were just happy to make the playoffs. They, so to speak, as according to their head coach, limping just to get to this point, just to make the playoffs. And now look where they're at now. 1
ball, 1 strike to Evans. As Granger steps off the rubber real quick. Down the left field and right field line, it's 330. To dead center, you're going to put a charge into that. It's 400 feet. Defensive responsibility for St. Anthony. Dominic Tucker in left. Her, Goldschmidt in center and in right field. Another pickoff attempt by Granger. Yeah, Burson, Baez at short and at second base. On the hot corners, Garcia, Marquez at first base, and they have the battery of Granger and Palmares. 1 ball, 1 strike to Hamilton Evans. No score as of yet. Runner goes. That breaking ball is a good pitch to run on. Throw down to second base, not in time. That's going to be a stolen base for Danny Chardee.
Yeah, the pitch slow enough for Chardee to take off. It was a nice slider that curled around the middle of the strike zone. Chardee was able to turn on the jets and find his way down to second base. Again, credit that speed of the ball to allow him to beat out the throw.
So runner in scoring position early in the first inning for Flintridge Prep. They'd love to pounce on St. Anthony early. 1-2 pitch is down the dirt, and a good save by Palmares. He'll keep it in front of him and the runner at second base. It's a perfect day for baseball here at the Plex, home of the UC Riverside Highlanders, a member of the Big West Conference. If you're familiar with that conference, it's a great brand of baseball. Cal State Fullerton, Long Beach State, UC Santa Barbara, Cal Poly, a slew of talent here in Southern California. 2-2 pitch on the hands, hit right back here to the screen, and we'll do it all over again. Hamilton Evans staying alive.
Yeah, throw in a little bit of UC Irvine, too, way back in the day when they had their little College World Series run back in 2005. Solid team and a solid conference here in the Big West.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Granger working from the stretch. Was in on the hands and just trying to get out of the way was Evans, and now the home plate umpire is going to say he didn't try hard enough. Appeared to have gotten hit right on the knuckles, but we'll see if Evans will be going back to the plate and recollecting his stick, and he will be. Evans is all geared up. Batting gloves, helmet, and a cage protecting his face. One thing I do like and appreciate, those knee-high stirrups.
Definitely stepping in with a fashion statement.
2-2 pitch. No, he will not have it as Granger made his pivot back to second base. Keeping an eye on Danny Sherity, who stole second after he had a leadoff single for Flintridge Prep. No score as of yet. Top of the first inning. 2-2 pitch, and fastball's low and in the dirt. So count runs full now at 3-2.
This could be a problem already here for St. Anthony, as he's already throwing a good number of pitches. He's already well over the 10-pitch count here. Already 2 batters in, and for Prep, that's a big advantage to get to him early.
Granger very alert. Sherity at second. Payoff pitch on the way, just a tad bit high. And Evans, who thought he was going to take his base a couple pitches ago, takes it anyway. So he works himself into a walk and got something brewing here in the top of the first inning for Flintridge Prep. No outs, runners at first and second, and up next is the shortstop, Robbie Leslie.
Yeah, for Prep, if you get down to the heart of the order, Leslie batting at .364 on the year with 24 hits. He's got 5 extra base hits this season. Not a completely powerful hitter, but with so much space down in the outfield, those can easily turn into extra bags, if anything. So still has a lot of pop in the bat, though.
Granger working from behind early to these hitters of Flintridge Prep. That ball is a shot right into center field. Hard charging on that was her. He makes the grab on the line. That's a loud out, though, for Flintridge Prep. So runners cannot advance. But as we mentioned, the ball was hit right on the button just to an outfielder, though, as Ben Hur came hard charging. Playing a little bit shallow. And left center and in right field, respectively. Coming up next is Cole Pilar, the catcher, this afternoon. Pilar, 5'9" junior, right-handed bat, checks in. Granger delivers that breaking ball, a tantalizing one on the outside corner in there for a strike, 0-1.
Yeah, and for Granger, an all-important now, too, to get the line out down to center. And with the runners at first and second, able to develop a force out.
0-1 pitch, ground ball. This could be 2. As Burson will touch the bag and then throw it over to first in time. Burson to Marquez, and the inning is over. And just like that, St. Anthony avoids trouble. No runs in the inning. He had 1 hit and 1 left on base at the end of half an inning. We got no score between Flintridge Prep and St. Anthony's.
Fans, if you want more of this game, just log on to the NFHSnetwork.com and check out the Get a DVD button that's below this screen. You can catch this game in anywhere, anytime, also on the NFHSnetwork.com with your mobile app and your account. $10 will get you just 1 day and $15 for an entire month. Already right here on the NFHS Network, where we are high school.
That is Manny Nunez. I am David Gascon. We're welcoming you to the Plex on the campus of UC Riverside. It is a picture-perfect day out here in the Inland Empire. Flintridge Prep from the Prep Baseball League, and St. Anthony's from the Santa Fe League. You know, as a high school student athlete, always had some fond memories of St. Anthony's, in particular being at Mary Star. I get to beat up on them a little bit, but Manny, as you talked about in the top We got this thing underway. St. Anthony's 18-10, but second place in the Santa Fe League. They were 5-4. A couple games back, obviously, of Salesian, who finished as the top team at 8-1. But a lot can change in playing their best brand of baseball here, winning 6 straight. Looking to cap this season off with 7 in a row for head coach Chris Jondal.
And that's the thing, even with baseball in general, you look about high school sports in general and thinking about, well, one game you move on, lose, well, your season's pretty much over. But when it comes down to baseball, you can play as best as you can in the regular season, but in the playoffs, those teams who come in hot at the right time, if they're playing their best round of baseball near the end of the season before the playoffs, well, those are going to be the more dangerous teams. And even when teams are coming in a little bit overconfident, well, those are the more dangerous ones, so to speak. And for St. Anthony's case, well, it was kind of the opposite story for this squad. Again, a team that barely made it 5-4 in their league. Salesian, obviously a very top program, well, able to get past them and then some. But again, with the story that they had, winning extra inning games against Desert Christian Academy, and then as well Buckley in 12 and 10 innings, and even had a rally back against Desert Christian Academy, being down in the bottom in the top half of the 12. So, in a team like this, in a game like this, they've seen it all in this playoff bracket. And again, for this team, only fitting to be here, but at the same time, well, they could be 7 innings away from hoisting an unexpected championship trophy.
Leading things off will be the mirror of each other. Grant Granger, the pitcher, going up against Richard Pan. First pitch, just missing the spot. 1-0. Grant Granger, Ben Hur, the center fielder, batting second. Nathan Marquez batting third, the first baseman. And Cody Palmares, the catcher, batting fourth. Tim Johnson, the designated hitter. That pitch is low and outside, 2-0. Johnson will be batting fifth, and you have Dominic Goldschmidt in right field. He'll be batting sixth. Darian Garcia, the third baseman, batting seventh. Adrian Baez batting eighth. R.J. Burson, the shortstop, will be batting ninth. Nice pitch by Pan in there for a strike as he tries to get himself even at 2-1. Pan with those strips and that high leg kick delivers that fastball a little bit high to Granger. Now he's quickly behind on the count, 3-1. A lot of pressure this afternoon, Manny, for both of these pitchers. You don't want to see them working from behind too often than not. And just like that, 5 pitches and down to first base goes Grant Granger. So the leadoff batter for both of these schools gets on board. And up next is Ben Hur, the center fielder.
Yeah, he hit it right on the head, David. Whenever you have pitchers start a little bit erratic early in the game, a deficit becomes now more of a mind game than physical. And so for Pan's case, it's just trying to settle down as quick as he possibly could.
Hur squares around to bunt. Bunts that foul out of play. And that's one of the things I talked to head coach Chris Jondal about was offensively, what can they do? And he's not afraid to send guys in motion early and often. He will sacrifice. He will go hit and run. He will also go run and hit. He's not afraid to put pressure on the opposing team's defense. And that's the name of the game, whether it's high school, college, or even the professional ranks. 0-1 pitch is down in the dirt by Pan. Counts even out 1-1.
And that's the thing with teams who are very well coached, too. As we saw the last game, you had leadoff hitters who not only are great inside the box, but even better on the base paths. You get a man on first, and, well, that can easily turn into a run with a simple base hit and a couple of steals.
That fastball was high. Pan, just like Granger, has a wide variety of pitches. Fastball, changeup, curveball, and also a splitter. His splitter is actually his out pitch, too, according to his head coach, Guillermo Gonzalez. That 2-1 pitch sails high, and it looks like a release point from Pan is just a little bit off. He's gone 3-1 to consecutive batters now. We're just getting underway. No score as of yet. Rebels and Saints. 3-1 pitch on the button. Poke to the right side. Gets through the hole. Pass Baez in the right field for a base hit. Station to station as Granger moves into second base, and Ben Hur, first base hit of the game for the Saints. And now they have something brewing here in the bottom of the first. Nobody out. Runners at first and second. And up next is the number 3 hitter, Nathan Marquez.
Now here for St. Anthony, you get into the heart of the lineup, and now with 2 runners on, nobody out. This is your chance to do a little bit of damage and put Pan under a lot of pressure.
7 innings plus of baseball here if they choose to do that. Pan's delivery is a nice one. Marquez just a little bit behind on that. Pan on the season, making his 8th appearance and his 8th start. Has a great ERA, too. Sub-2, 1.83, despite the fact he has a 3-4 record. A one-pitch ground ball could go through the middle. Diving attempt by Burson goes into center field for a base hit. Rounding third, coming in to score is Granger. And the St. Anthony Saints are on the board. They lead here in the first inning. It's 1-0.
So that base hit, that'll advance her down to third base. Marquez with an RBI single, and right now for Pan, he's not missing any bats right now. And even if he doesn't, the zone's not been very effective for him. Already 3 batters on, and all 3 have reached base safely.
Leslie's diving attempt could not pull that one out, unfortunately, for Flintridge Prep. As they're behind, they had a golden opportunity. And now the bad throw and the pickoff attempt coming in to score. Play at the plate. And he is out. Ben Hurd taking a little bit of a gamble. Hesitation in this game will cost you, and Hurd himself took one step, almost a false step too, and very alertly was Schrader over at first base to gun him as Cole Pilar applied the tag. That was a big out now for Flintridge Prep.
Yeah, I think an even bigger out for St. Anthony, considering I'm not sure if that was the call that the coaches wanted on the base pads. It seems like that was kind of Hare's decision to go. I mean, the first baseman had an easy play at the plate. It was right on the tag.
Cody Palmares twirling his bat a little bit. The catcher up to swing the stick. Nice pitch, that fastball by Pan delivered on the outside corner in there for a strike. 0-1. That's one of the things that you want to be aware of, too, in a game like this. When you have so many outs to play with, you don't want to give away anything. And that's exactly what Ben Hurd did just there. 1-0. It could have been at least 2. That pitch sails outside. Defensively for Flintridge Prep, you got Kim, Rosefeld, and Kakawa in the outfield going from left to right. You have Leslie and Chardy and Short in second base. Hamilton Evans on the hot corner. Schrader over at first base. You have the battery of Pan and Pilar behind the plate. 1-0. St. Anthony leads bottom of the first inning. Flintridge Prep had a couple runners on board with nobody out in the top of the first. Grant Granger worked himself out of a jam. 1-2 pitch on the way, swung on and missed. Nice pitch delivered by Richard Pan for his first K of the ball game, and now we have 2 outs in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, I really think that with that out coming from third by Ben Hare, it seems as if it gave a little bit of confidence back to Richard Pan on the mound. Seems as he's finding his zone a little bit more, and with that, big strikeout to get picked up by Palmares.
Tim Johnson, the left-handed batter, is the designated hitter this afternoon. Trying to get the runner home and checks his swing. No appeal down the third baseline, so nevertheless, Johnson did hold up. He's ahead in the count 1-0. Johnson up to bat right now. Dominic Goldschmidt on deck if they can get to him. Pan delivers, working from the stretch. Nice pitch by him on the outside corner for a strike.
And we've seen all day, actually yesterday even as well, covering the softball championships, the umpires have been very consistent with calling pitches just off the plate.
Johnson, 5'10", 210-pound senior. He's got some sock, and speaking of sock, he got plunked with one by Pan, almost in the rib cage, so he'll take his base. Did not rub it, so not that hard of a pitch by Pan. Nevertheless, is on board now. Moving over to second base is Nathan Marquez.
Oh, he'll feel it, though, later on today, I bet you, even tomorrow. Those things, they do sting. You know, tough it up now, but obviously going to the next day, it's going to hurt quite a bit. But either way, look at it back at Pan. You know, unfortunate to give a man on. Now he's got to face at least one more to get out of this inning.
And that one more is Dominic Goldschmidt. First pitch is in the dirt, 1-0. Goldschmidt, 5'10", 175-pound sophomore for the Saints. Batting .275. 5 doubles and a homer. 17 runs batted in. Calls for time. Pan's had a good season. We mentioned his ERA at 1.83. Strikeout to walk ratio is just a little bit under 3-1. Now he's working behind yet again like he did to Grant Granger and also Ben Hur. It's 2-0 to Goldschmidt. Wind's blowing a little bit from right to left. 2-0 pitch. Goldschmidt thought about pulling the trigger, but held back and thought better of it. 3-0.
It seems as if Pan is maybe panicking a little bit, as seems now to be a little bit more erratic.
3-0 pitch, nothing but red. That's exactly what it is, right down Broadway by Pan. Trying to work himself back against Goldschmidt. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 out. Bottom of the first inning, St. Anthony's leads 1-0. That 3-1 pitch paying the black was Pan. Well, the faithful from Long Beach, St. Anthony Saints fans, did not like the call, but nevertheless, good location by Pan. Count runs full, so now runners will be in motion on first movement, and there they go. Payoff pitch on the hands, and sawing that off was Goldschmidt, and we'll do it all over again.
So a chance to get out of the inning here for Richard Pan, and again, the hit batter has now forced 6 pitches off the arm of Richard Pan, so his pitch count seems to be rising up quite a bit.
Theo Rosenfeld in center field, creeping up just a bit. Payoff pitch on the way. Runners go. It does not matter. Swung on and missed. Down goes Goldschmidt, and the inning is over. But not before some damage was done for St. Anthony. They had two hits in the inning, 1 run, a couple left on base, and a 1 full inning, and St. Anthony is on top of Flintridge Prep by a count of 1-0. David Gascon, Manny Nunez welcome you back to the Plex on the campus of UC Riverside out here in the Inland Empire. Perfect day for baseball. Not a cloud in the sky. It's the St. Anthony Saints leading the Flintridge Prep Rebels by a count of 1-0. It's the 5, 6, and 7 hitters for the Rebels trying to get even. First pitch hacking away as Richard Pan bangs that one into center field. But Ben-Hur had a beat on it, goes over his shoulder, and that's going to be extra bases. Pan took a quick look at his third base coach, but jams on the brakes over at second base. We'll see how the official scores rule it. But Hur took a nice gallop to track that one down. Might have lost it in the sun. Wasn't a tough play, but again, sun could have been a factor.
At the same time, the dimensions, like you were talking about in that first inning, any other high school ballpark, it's usually about a lot shorter in terms of the depth of the fences. Right now, the left and right field corners are at 330, deep out in center at 400. That hit could have gone about a good 350, 360, which is usually around average for any high school ballpark.
Isaac Kim up to bat right now and looks at the first pitch delivered by Granger. On outside, they're going to call that a base hit. We'll have to check and see if they roll it as a double or a single, but nevertheless, Pan in scoring position. Granger's pitch looks to appear. No, it did not nick Kim. And just jogging in his second or third base is Richard Pan. So both pitchers, Granger and Pan, got themselves into some trouble. Hitting batters, being a little erratic, and now you're not getting any help from your defense as well. As Ben-Hur had a routine play that went off the lip of his glove into center field, and now you got the tying run 90 feet away for Flintridge Prep. It's exactly what they want. 2-0 pitch on the way. Fastball's outside to Kim. It's 3-0.
Ironically enough, at the hit from Richard Pan, he's the man on the mound, so the man who actually caused his own trouble, he's going to try to be the one to clean up his own mess.
Considered a wild pitch. And that pitch is lifted into shallow right field. Goldschmidt making that grab. Throws a one-hopper to the plate, but obviously not deep enough to bring home Pan.
Yeah, it becomes really testy. More of a judgment call when you're down at third base, about one bag away from trying to score. And that ball shallow enough to keep Richard Pan at third base, and it becomes more of a mind game when you're up at the bag and you're thinking if it's how strong the arm is down at any part of the field.
Aiden Schrader up to bat right now. Schrader, the first baseman. No snap on that pitch delivered by Granger. Goes outside 1-0. Schrader on the season is a 5'10" freshman. It was nice to see when you get some of the freshmen doing some things at the varsity level. There's 5 freshmen on this club for Flintridge Prep. It's a young school. 5 freshmen and just 2 seniors. So despite the fact that they're 16 and 12 on this season, you got to imagine for head coach Guillermo Gonzalez, and asked him this prior to the first pitch. He thinks they're about one season away, and you know what? And this experience is invaluable. And a lot of these young kids are going to learn going through the sophomore and junior and obviously their senior seasons. Will get better, but always nice to get that kind of playoff experience. Now you're finding yourself in the Division VI finals. As the head coach for St. Anthony's, Chris Johnell, having a chat with his ace, Grant Granger, who, much like Richard Pan, working from behind to opposing batters. You hear that old adage, get on top and stay on top in baseball, and neither pitcher has done that just yet.
Yeah, you see both pitchers not really settling in. Pan had his own troubles in the bottom of the first, and already seems like those struggles from the first inning for Granger have carried over to this inning.
Back to baseball. A 2-0 pitch is in there for a strike delivered by Granger. 2-1. Schrader not quite hitting his weight just yet. Batting $189. Does have a couple doubles. 2-1 pitch. That fastball is way outside off the plate. 3-1.
It's the kind of guy you want at the plate, though. Even though he doesn't make a whole lot of contact, he's the kind of athlete that'll at least get you extra bags and put yourself in a position to score.
Granger working from the stretch. It's a 5-pitch walk delivered to the number 7 batter. So taking his base is Aiden Schrader, and up next is the number 8 hitter, Theo Rosenfeld.
Now the fear you have if you're a Prep fan is already St. Anthony has turned a double play back in the first to end the inning on a 6-3.
It's one of the things with Granger you have to be a little worried about. His strikeout to walk ratio is just about even at 1-1. That high fastball, Rosenfeld probably should have laid off if it could not. 0-1. Coming into this contest, Granger, he's not an overpowering guy. 27 Ks and 23 walks. That's one of the things that his head coach, Chris Johnell, had mentioned. He pitches to contact. So he's certainly not going to blow a lot of things by you. Fastball, changeup, curveball. And if he gets a little creative, also has a knuckleball. Not necessarily his out pitch, but he can throw it. Runner goes from first base. Bluff attempt to go right back to Granger. So cruising into second base is Schrader with a stolen bag. And now you got runners at second and third here in the top of the second inning with just one out. Big play for Flintridge Prep because now that takes away any kind of double play possibility for the Saints. 1-1 pitch is high. We'll see if Rosenfeld can make the adjustment and make Granger come to him.
And yet again, Granger's gone behind in the count. It's been the theme of the story for both sides.
Rosenfeld, 6 foot tall, junior. That pitch is way outside. I do appreciate the effort by Palmares trying to frame that pitch, but it was about a foot off the home plate. Rosenfeld batting .278 for the Rebels with a double and 6 runs batted in. 3-1 pitch looked like a breaking ball with no snap on it. So back-to-back walks delivered by Granger. And now the bags are juiced. The number 9 hitter, Kendall Kakawa.
I have to wonder how the infield's going to position. Right now it looks as if the corners are going to be in, and looks like second and short is playing for that double play ball.
And if you're Guillermo Gonzalez, you can have some fun with this, the head coach for Flintridge Prep. You can squeeze if you wanted to. You could slash, you could do a couple different things. But if I'm a hitter right now for the Rebels, I'm taking all the way as that pitch is high.
Yeah, let Granger make as many mistakes as he could. Right now it's been him that's put the man on base so far. Minus Pan with the single.
1-0 pitch, a big hack by the number 9 hitter, Kakawa. He fans on that, 1-1.
Yeah, it looks like this team is trained well enough to only swing at the pitches that are around where you like.
1-1 pitch, a little high and tight to Kakawa. He's now ahead of the count, 2-1.
Yeah, 4 straight batters that Granger's fallen behind in the count, at least at 2-1.
Pan is at third base, taking a nice little trot down the third baseline as that pitch sails high. 3-1, so no room for error now for Granger. 3 balls and 1 strike with 1 out here in the top of the second inning. St. Anthony's leads Flintridge Prep by a count of 1-0, but that could change real quick. Payoff pitch on the way, and that is low. That's not even knee-high. Ball 4. So 3 consecutive walks delivered by Grant Granger, and this game is now locked up at 1 apiece.
And that's going to be credited as an RBI for Kikawa. It's not the way he wants to score, but nonetheless, that run obviously will tie things up. And Granger, again, has not settled in since the beginning of the game. Had a struggle in the first, and even more erratic here in the second inning.
So RBI number 11 on the season for Kikawa. On the top of the lineup, Denny Chardee is up to bat. Chardee, led this game off with a single. Stole second base. So trying to duplicate just that. Hard hit ball through the right side, hits the base runner. And while Kikawa, it will be out. That was a hard hit ball delivered by Chardee. Right on the button, and Marquez, a diving attempt, could not pull that one out. Unfortunate for Flintridge Prep. It's on that dead ball. Kikawa's now out. Chardee will be at first base with a single. But boy, that would have brought home at least 1 run and possibly even another.
Yeah, it was a liner that was finding that right field gap, and that's a big break if you're a Saint fan.
Hamilton Evans up to try his luck. Evans in the game walked in his first plate appearance. 4 walks in the game so far by Grant Granger. Bluff attempt over at second base, and napping over there is Theo Rosenfeld. So wow, talk about a team running themselves out of an inning. That's exactly what Flintridge Prep did just there. Some bad base running, a little bit of luck for Grant Granger. He escapes a bases-loaded jam with 1 out and then 2 outs with minimal damage. We go to the home half of the second inning here at the Plex. It's St. Anthony's 1 and Flintridge Prep 1.
Fans, if you want to watch more of your school's great events like the game you are enjoying here tonight, then tell your school to sign up for the NFHS Network School Broadcast Program. We're going to allow schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to www.nfhsnetwork.com/SBP.
David Gascon, Manny Nunez welcome you to the Plex on the campus of UC Riverside, home of the Highlanders. Division 6 baseball finals. Odd way for both of these schools to get here. Flintridge Prep, they started the season off rather slow. 7 straight losses to open up the 2015 campaign. Then they got on track and won 7 games in a row, and now they're currently on their best winning streak of the season. Winners of 7 straight. St. Anthony on the flip side, they're 18-10, 5-4 in the Santa Fe League. They beat Pauley in the first round 8-3, then took care of Barone in the second round 4-0. St. Anthony took aside Desert Christian Academy 4-3. That's a little bit of a revenge too, because talking about how these schools got here, St. Anthony's and also Flintridge Prep. Flintridge Prep lost in the semifinals a couple seasons ago to Desert Christian Academy. This first pitch delivered to Darian Garcia. It's high and outside for a ball. 1-0. It's the 7, 8, 9 hitters for St. Anthony's against Richard Pan. Right-hander kicks and fires. Pop up on the first baseline, giving chase is Schrader. A lot of ground to work out there, whether it's on the first baseline or even on the third baseline. You don't see that too often in college or even in Major League Baseballs anymore, all that foul ground territory. Usually the bullpens are in the outfield or gated off. It was all fair play out here. Pan kicks and fires that pitch. Bounce to Pilar. 2-1. Pretty good turnout here at the Plex from both schools. Ground ball over the left side to Leslie. Candy hot for him. Throws it over to first to Schrader in time. And that's the first out of the inning.
Yeah, talk about routine there. A 6-3 ground out on the 2-hop. So with that out, first fluid out that we've seen from the defense today. Last inning for Richard Pan, he was able to K out 2 and then snag out a 3rd out off of Ben Hare on a pickoff.
That pitch sails way outside to Baez. Adrian Baez, the second baseman, number 8 hitter for the Saints. 5'10", 180 or 150-pound senior. Muscles that one a bloop into left center field. It's going to drop in for a base hit. Not a lot of balls have been hit hard by either of these schools, and I can only think of the one by Ben Hur and also Danny Sharady on both of these schools, but nevertheless, they are finding holes.
You can't forget about Richard Pan's deep fly ball down to center. That could have been out in any other high school ballpark, too.
Call that a can of corn, but nevertheless, it was not an out. Up next is the number 9 hitter, R.J. Burson. Burson is a pleasant surprise for head coach Chris Jondal. Not because he wasn't expected to be here. Well, he broke his wrist earlier this year, and he was out the entire season. The entire season. He had some pins in his wrist that are placed in. And his head coach says he's one of the better athletes on the club, if not the best. They need him obviously for his offensive prowess, but also what he can do defensively. He has good range, good instinct for the baseball. 3-0 pitch is ball 4. So back-to-back hitters getting on board for St. Anthony's. It's been the theme so far for both of these schools, Manny.
Yeah, and you see Richard Pan again, a solid out to start the inning, and then after this, gave up a hit to Baez, and then Barson goes on 4 straight pitches. So as we mentioned, the theme of the story here today on both sides of the dugout, and for their pitching coach and the rest of the staff, all they can do now at this point is to kind of calm down Richard Pan and kind of trust his instincts and his defense to do the rest of the work.
We saw a little bit of activity in the St. Anthony's bullpen, and now we see more of that on the opposing side for Flintridge Prep. St. Anthony's is in the home uniforms. They're white and purple. Flintridge Prep, the gray unis, some navy blue. Those awesome knee-high stirrups. Up next is Grant Granger, the pitcher. That pitch delivered by Pan, high and inside, ball 1.
Yeah, the whole idea now for Richard Pan is to build up that confidence right back.
Pan's walked a couple batters. One of them's on board right now. That's Burson at first base. 1-0 pitch is in there for a strike, 1-1.
Already some activity in the Prep bullpen as Nicholas Davis is doing some soft toss on the mound.
Granger, 5'9", 165-pound senior. Came into this contest batting .414. That's exactly where he's at right now since he walked in the top of the bottom of the first. 1-1 pitch. Letter high on the inside corner of the plate. Nice pitch delivered by Pan. Not being afraid to go inside. 1-2. Adrian Baez at second base. R.J. Burson at first. 1 out. Bottom of the second inning. Pitch is in the dirt. Nice save by Pilar. Couldn't keep it in front of him, but nevertheless, it was within reach. And Baez could not advance 90 feet.
Yeah, curious about the pitching staff, too, for the Rebels, where you have Davis warming up, the freshman. Not much stats on him, though he's appeared 5 times. The other man who's solid, even more solid than Richard Pan, it's Robbie Leslie, who's playing out in the field. He's got a solid outing with a under 1.5 ERA.
2-2 pitch on the way. That one's poked down the right field line, but going foul. And Robbie Leslie, if they can get to him, he is considered Guillermo Gonzalez's closer. So Gonzalez would like to save that gun, if you will. The latter part of the game. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pitch on the way. Breaking ball holding his swing, Granger, but it did not matter. It nicked the outside corner. Strike 3 called, and that's a big strikeout for Pan.
A beautiful pitch, too, as that completely fooled Granger on that outside corner. Just found its way into the black and slid into the corner. That's a big and loud out number 2.
Third strikeout of the game by Pan, and up next is Ben Hurd, the center fielder. Hurd in the contest has singled already. He stole a base. Back in the first, the left-handed batter twirling his stick. Hits that ball right to the right fielder, Kikawa. Underneath the sun, makes the grab, and the inning is over. So a golden opportunity for St. Anthony's was wasted in the home half of the second inning. They had 1 hit and 2 left on base. Then have 2 full innings here at the Plex. It's Flintridge Prep and St. Anthony's tied at 1 apiece. David Gascon, Manny Nunez welcome you back here to the Plex on the campus of UC Riverside. Division 6 baseball finals between St. Anthony's, the Saints, and Flintridge Prep, the Rebels. Top of the third inning we go with the score tied at 1 apiece. And leading things off will be the third baseman, Hamilton Evans. They'll be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Rebels against Grant Granger, who's had himself a little bit of trouble early on in this contest. Right-hander delivers a breaking ball, and Evans had already given up on the pitch halfway to him. Drops in there nicely for a strike, 0-1.
And the important thing, though, for Granger is he's figured this part of the lineup out, 2, 3, and 4, combined 0 for 2 with a walk.
Getting on top and working ahead now is Granger, 0-2. Granger in the game does not record a strikeout. He's already walked 4 batters. I'll have to change that rather quickly. Pop up to the shortstop, Burson. He calls everybody off on the outfield grass. Makes the routine grab, and we got 1 away.
That's a big out number 1, too. First time today that he set down the leadoff batter. So now that will definitely ensue a little bit of a chance for Granger to see if he can settle down a bit more here in this third inning.
Up next is Robbie Leslie, the shortstop. We'll try his luck. That pitch is swung on and missed, 0-1. That's something we have not seen from Granger in the first 2 innings. Was working ahead, throwing first pitch strikes.
Yeah, even more so getting ahead of the batter after 3 pitches. He's been 2-1 quite a bit today.
Ground ball over the left side. Garcia picks it and fires it over to first. In time and quickly we have 2 outs here at the top of the third.
You know, funny thing, David, is that these are not easy outs whenever there's grounders down at third base, because this is the furthest part of the infield. You got to go across the diamond to make the play, and for any speedy runners that are in those base paths, it's an easy chance to beat out the throw, but with the arm of the third baseman, a great gun right into the glove for a big out number 2.
Up next is the catcher, Cole Pilar. Taking his time and taking all the way. That pitch delivered in the dirt by Granger for a ball, 1-0. Pilar, 5'9" junior. For head coach Guillermo Gonzalez. Came into this game batting .381. Couple doubles. Hits that ball, a shot into center field. Hurd has to go back just a little bit. He makes that grab. And just like that, a 1-2-3 inning for Grant Granger. No runs in the inning, no hits, and nobody left on base. Quickly we move to the home half of the third inning. It's the Rebels and the Saints tied at 1 apiece.
Fans, join the conversation. The NFHS Network is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, giving you access to the best in high school sports every week. Follow the NFHS Network on your favorite social media sites to keep up with all the high school action on the NFHS Network, or hashtag We Are High School.
David Gascon, Manny Nunez, welcome you back to the Plex, the campus of UC Riverside out here in the Inland Empire. in beautiful Southern California. Glad you can be here with us on the NFHS network. Been an up and down game for both of these schools. Pitching's been a little erratic from the opening onset, and then all of a sudden here in the third inning, Grant Granger locked things down with a 1-2-3 inning. His counterpart, Richard Pan, would like to duplicate that in the worst kind of way.
That's the thing. That first inning wasn't all that great for Penn as they gave up a run and a couple of hits and even a lot of walks as well. Second time around, settled down a little bit more, but had a bit of a conversation with his head coach, with Guillermo Garcia, to kind of see if he can calm down and re-aggravate all the good things that he's been doing throughout the season. So we're able to settle down a little bit more. But this time around, I think the fortunate thing for St. Anthony is they didn't give Pan much of a break. Only had Prep face about 8 to 9 pitches in that last half inning. So now Pan's got to go back into the mound and see if he can keep his composure back.
It'll be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters for St. Anthony's. Marquez, Palmares, and also Tim Johnson, the designated hitter. For head coach Chris Jondal.
Leading out for the Saints, number 13, Nathan Marquez.
Marquez in the contest. He's 1 for 1. He's singled back in the first. Working against Pan. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors for St. Anthony's. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors for Flintridge Prep. First pitch is an off-speed pitch delivered by Pan, working with the secondary pitches. Missed the corner. 1-0. Foul back to the screen. Defensively for Flintridge Prep, playing a little shallow is Kakawa in right field. Rosenfeld in center. And Isaac Kim in left field, playing relatively deep.
He seems to have a strong approach in left and center, but rather weak down and right.
Breaking ball. Easy routine play for Leslie. It's short. Strong arm by him. He throws it over to first in time. And quickly have 1 out.
And that's a big loud out, number 1. And second time in 3 innings that Richard Pan's been able to take down the leadoff hitter.
It's nice and comfortable, 78 degrees out here in the city of Riverside. Not a single cloud in the sky. It was a little overcast earlier in the day. It's in the West Coast, Hermosa and Manhattan Beach areas, and as usual, things burn off once you hit 11 or 12 o'clock, and glad they have done so out here in the Inland Empire. Palmares, the catcher. It's that ball, line drive to Rosenfeld, who has a beat on that and makes the catch for 2 outs.
Yeah, almost overran that ball too and kind of misjudged it, but fortunately for him, he was able to position himself quite nicely as Theodore Roosevelt gets a big out, number 2.
So what's good for Granger might be equally as good for him, Richard Pan. It's the first 2 batters he has faced have gone down. 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. Nice pitch delivered by Pan. Fastball in the outside corner there for a strike. 0-1. Nobody on base. Bottom of the third inning. CIF Southern Section Division 6 baseball finals between St. Anthony's and Flintridge Prep.
Yeah, this time around, as Tim Johnson was hit by a pitch in the last at bat, Richard Pan's going to be working outside the zone.
1-1 pitch on the hands and yanked down the first baseline, foul.
With the guy with the big strike zone that Johnson has, it's really only fitting to see if he can go oppo. Right now the outfield's actually shifted towards the right side.
1-2 pitch on the way. Just poking that one out, trying to keep himself alive was Johnson. Almost turned out to be extra bases.
Now it was a good bat on the ball too for Tim Johnson, as even with not as much power on the right side, there's a lot of space. See the left fielder playing as close to the line as he could, just in case.
So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pan trying to go up 1-2-3 in this inning. Gets his sign from Cole Pilar. Kicks and fires. 1-2 pitch, fanned on and missed, and down goes Johnson. And just like that, the inning is over. A 1-2-3 inning for Richard Pan. No runs, no hits, and nobody left on base. At the end of 3 full innings here at the Plex. It's the Saints and Rebels that tied at 1 apiece. David Gascon, Manny Nunez, welcome you back to the Plex on the campus of UC Riverside. CIF Southern Section Division 6 baseball finals. Flintridge Prep, St. Anthony Saints. Leading things off for the Rebels. Richard Pan, ground ball down the third baseline, but just going foul. A little bit difficult play for Darian Garcia.
Yeah, Pan's going to be very hard out to get. Led off the second with the leadoff double and did later score.
The 5, 6, and 7 hitters for Flintridge Prep. Foul tip back into the glove of Palmares. Granger ahead in the count 0-2.
And just as aggressive he is on the mound, he is very aggressive, even more so at the plate. Not afraid to swing.
Top of the 4th inning. We were tied at 1 apiece. That pitch just missing the outside corner was Granger. He wanted the strikeout, did not get it. As we could see it from here, St. Anthony's head coach Chris Jono barking out some orders to his outfield. Off-speed pitch by Granger, did not follow through on that because that a little bit high. To Richard Pan. It's even in the count 2-2. Soft fly ball into left field, and then misplaying that was Dominic Tucker in left field. Misread that completely, backtracked a little bit, and then came up and thought better of trying to make a diving attempt. And that's going to be a laid-off base hit for Richard Pan.
Yeah, anywhere it should have been routine, but again, misplayed as he stepped back and thinking as if it was going to go over his head, but all of a sudden, whatever wind pushed it in front, made it a very simple single, and now you got some threat on the base paths.
Isaac came up to bat, the right-handed batter against Grant Granger. And when you say wind, that is a very delicate wind. I mean, you are not pushing that baseball out there a whole heck of a lot. The American flag in right center field is moving just a little bit to center field. But again, it's not some overpowering San Andreas winds or anything like that. It's a bad play by Tucker, but nevertheless, a golden opportunity for Flintridge Prep to cash in.
Yeah, big too, considering, again, Richard Pan scoring earlier back in that second inning, and it's where the confidence back in the Prep offense can really come into play.
Ground ball over to Garcia. This could be two. Garcia to Baez over to first. In time, double play. 5-4-3 double play. It was Garcia to Baez and over to Marquez. That's a fantastic bailout play for Grant Granger and his defense.
Yeah, textbook, so to speak. A beautiful scoop there from that third baseline, and an easy play for Darian Garcia. At the very least, trying to get the out at second to take away the leadoff run, but if you can cash in the out at first, well, more power to you. And it's exactly what the Saints have done.
Most important thing is it's a little bit of a mulligan now for Dominic Tucker in left field to get him out of a jam. Up next is Aiden Schrader, the first baseman.
Now, let's just say that Tucker will give his infield a big hug once he gets back in the dugout.
Why not? We got 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. 2-0 pitch is in there for a strike by Granger. 2-1. Flintridge Prep ran themselves out of a big inning, possibly a big inning, back in the second. And bases loaded with 1 out. Fly ball, this should do it. Goldschmidt coming in, coming out as Baez. Goldschmidt in right field calls off his second baseman, and the inning is over. Kind of a roundabout way of doing things, but it is a 1-2-3 inning for Grant Granger. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left on base. In the 3.5 here at the Plex. St. Anthony's won, Flintridge Prep won.
Fans, today's event is also available for subscribers via our mobile site. Log on to the NFHSnetwork.com from your smartphone or tablet and view live games or replays from anywhere. And also fans, the NFHS Network is proud to partner with Under Armour on a new fast-paced and entertaining weekly show, Under Armour Highlights of the Week. Go to NFHSnetwork.com/UA Highlights to watch. And if you see a great highlight, send it to us at UA Highlights at NFHSnetwork.com. You just might make the show.
David Gascon and Manny Nunez. Give you a little shout to Under Armour, our proud new partner. I'm geared up for football season, Manny. I got the sponsored gear by Under Armour coming in the mail. Love the gear that they have, obviously, as a former student collegiate athlete. Premier stuff, and obviously proud to have them on board with us. It's a fantastic partnership. We're here at the Plex.
Yeah, Under Armour, a very strong company, and slowly trying to bleed into the collegiate atmosphere. Very few schools are into it right now. Obviously, the other companies are heavily involved. But Under Armour, again, they got some great apparel, and when we get that equipment in the fall for next year, well, we're definitely gonna be sporting it with style.
Love it. It'll be the 6, 7, and 8 hitters for St. Anthony's. As they're trying to recapture the lead. Is up right now is Dominic Goldschmidt. Almost bailed out of the batter's box right there. Pitch delivered by Richard Pan in there for a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. It'll be Goldschmidt, Garcia, and Baez. Hot shot right through the box. Pan tried just to get out of the way and protect himself at the same time. Leadoff single for Goldschmidt here in the home half of the 4th inning. The score tied at 1 apiece.
Yeah, line drive hit that sneaks into center field. Pan obviously couldn't position himself in time to make the play, and now more threat here coming for St. Anthony to figure out a way to break out this 1-1 tie.
Darren Garcia, the third baseman, who flipped a nicely turned 5-4-3 double play in the top of the 4th, is up to bat, squares around to bunt, and now we get the runner tied up. Goldschmidt throw down to second base. Tag is applied by Leslie, and that'll be a easy put out for Flintridge Prep as Pilar down to Leslie at second base for the first out of the inning.
That's a problem for Goldschmidt. He was pretty much a dead duck as he was right between first and second. Once you're committed, you got to go with it, and well, with that, the catcher kind of sniffed out the play perfectly.
Might have been a missed sign by Garcia, because it looked like Goldschmidt was actually running on motion, so that could have been a hit and run that was just missed, and Garcia had laid off the pitch. 1-1 on the way. A little bleeder to Leslie, makes the lob underhand catch, and just like that, there's 2 outs.
Yeah, bailing him out too after that put out, and 1 pitch later, got the bases cleared now with 2 down and a chance to get back to the dugout and see if they can do some damage at the plate here for the Rebels.
And why I say it's a missed sign was because when Goldschmidt made his move to second base, he actually had his head up. He didn't have his head down, so he was anticipating where that ball might have been or could have been hit, whether it's popped up or on the ground. Straight steal, he'd have his head down no matter what. First pitch to Adrian Baez, a little bit high for a ball, 1-0. So both of these schools have run themselves into some trouble on the base paths, and the defense has been very alert and opportunistic to record the outs.
Yeah, you go back to that first inning too, when really it should be a 2-1 ball game possibly. Ben Hare was out at third going home on a bad pickoff move that led out at first base. Hare decided to take off, and I think a signal that was kind of miscommunicated. So, like you mentioned, it seems as if the players are trying to take command of the game, but there's been all those mistakes that's kept it at a 1-1 game.
3-0 pitch, and Baez wanted to twirl his bat to his own dugout and take a 4-pitch walk, but it's called right back. We'll see if Pan can work himself back. 3-1 pitch, ground ball to Leslie. Strong pivot and gun over the first base, and that is the inning. So another 1-2-3 inning for Richard Pan and Flintridge Prep. No runs in inning, 1 hit, nobody left on base. To the top of 5 we go here at the Plex. It's the Saints and Rebels tied at 1 apiece. David Gascon and Manny Nunez welcome you back to the Plex on the campus of UC Riverside.
For the Rebels, number 25, Theodore Rosenfeld.
CIF Southern Section Division 6 baseball finals between the St. Anthony Saints and the Flintridge Prep Rebels. Locked up at a good one. Glad you can be here with us. We're tied at 1 apiece. It'll be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for Flintridge Prep. Theo Rosenfeld, Kendall Kakawa, and then also Danny Sherity working against Grant Granger, who's calmed down a little bit. He had a rough first couple of innings, but since then, he's retired. The next 6 batters he has faced, the pitch is swung on a miss. Not in order. Pam Richard was on base, but then got doubled up. That pitch, a fastball on the outside corner of the plate. Rosenfeld could not pull the trigger, and down he goes. First out of the inning.
You know, as crazy as it sounds, too, if you look at the scorecard, that's his first strikeout of the day, too. So the defense, give a lot of credit to that defense to hold on to that 1-1 tie so far. A lot of the defense actually has been ground balls. About half of the outs have been on the ground.
Kakawa checking in. Right-handed batter looks at a first pitch strike. 0-1. As you mentioned, May, 1 punch out for Granger, and he's walked 4 batters. Flintridge Prep has not been able to cash in, and now Kakawa's behind the count 0-2. As we see some activity in the Flintridge Prep bullpen. What they're doing for St. Anthony. It's Granger's game to have right now. Fly ball in the foul territory down the right field line. Giving chase was Goldschmidt, but he could not flag that down.
And they left 2 runners stranded in the first inning, and then another 2 in the third. Oh, correction. 2 in the first, and then another 3 out in that second inning. But even then, again, bad base running has really cost him as well.
0-2 pitch on the hands. Unfortunate for Kakawa staying alive. The dimensions here at the Plex are a little alarming if you are a customer. Reason why is because the parking lot is right behind the screens and the bleachers here, so any kind of foul ball, better watch out for your windshield.
Lucky for me, I parked outside the parking lot in the street for that reason, just in case.
Manny Nunez did not want to pay the parking fee. That's what it went down. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Kakawa. He works himself even. It's now 2-2. That's one of the things here at the Plex. The screen can only do so much. We've seen many of windshields and windows busted here in college play. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Kakawa shot right up the box. That's going to go up the middle for a base hit. Fortunate for Grant Granger, who stuck his paw out, tried nabbing that one. It did not hit his hand.
Daniel Sherity.
It's one of the things that coaches and managers will always rule against for their pitchers, because one ball, whether it's hit hard or not, can end up breaking a digit or even a hand.
And even bigger for the Rebels, too. Not missing much now at that point, as Kakawa timed that pitch perfectly as that went right through center. Now Prep yet again is looking to get back on the scoreboard and break off this 1-1 tie.
Danny Sherity is up to bat. Had a pretty decent game so far, right? 2 for 2, 2 singles, and a stolen bag. If you recall, back in the second inning, with the bases loaded, Sherity came up with 1 out, and he hit a hard-hit ground ball over to the right side underneath the first baseman Marquez's glove, but it hit his own base runner. As Kendall Kakawa got plunked, was out on the dead ball, and then all of a sudden you had 2 outs, and Theo Rosenfeld, who was on second base, got picked off by Granger. And that was that. So what could have been a huge inning for Flintridge Prep turned out to be a minimal one. They only scratched across 1 run.
Yeah, it's been the all-tail tale for both sides. Again, bad base running on one end for the Saints, and for the Rebels, just bad luck coming from that second inning.
No balls and 2 strikes. Runner goes, hit and run action, ground ball over to Burson. His only play is over to first. And that is the second out of the inning.
Not sure if it was designed to be a hit and run. Either way, that takes we have the opportunity for a double play as Kikawa was able to beat out that ground ball down to short. So now puts himself in scoring position the first time since anyone's reached there since that second inning.
St. Anthony's had turned a double play back in the fourth. So Guillermo Gonzalez, the head coach for Flintridge Prep, put his runner in motion to avoid just that. It would have been an inning double play. But now, Flintridge Prep staying alive, and up next is Hamilton Evans. He's 0 for 1 in the contest. Trying to bring home a runner. Evans looks at a pitch in there for a strike, 1-1.
In fact, they've had 2 double plays as well. They had one back in the first on a 6-3. So both times they've been rally killers for this Prep offense.
Evans, 6'3" junior. Great size on him. Batting .365 coming into this contest. Pitches bounce to him. A nice save by Palmares. Keeping Kikawa over at second base. He singled after Rosenfeld struck out. And advanced over to second base on the fielder's choice as Charity grounded out to the shortstop, Burson. 2 balls and 1 strike, 2 out, top of the 5th inning. 1-1 Rebels and Saints. Fly ball to center field, her coming up a couple steps. Makes the one-handed grab, and the inning is over. So nothing doing again. Grant Granger rolling right along for St. Anthony's. No runs in the inning, 1 hit, and 1 left on base. To the home half of the 5 we go. It's the Saints and the Rebels tied at 1.
Fans, if you want to watch more of your school's great events, like the game you are enjoying here tonight, then tell your school to sign up for the NFHS Network School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to www.nfhsnetwork.com/SBP.
David Gascon, Manny Nunez, our technical director, Blake Fogg, pushing the dials, making sure we're on air. We can only do so much as far as our God-given talents, and Blake takes us the rest of the way. We're here round the year on the NFHS Network, on-demand content along with the live coverage. Well, it's baseball, basketball, football, volleyball, whatever it may be. Not just here in Southern California, but across the nation. So please feel free to visit us on the NFHS Network. We are high school. Good game in the CF Southern Section Division 6 baseball finals. St. Anthony scored a run in the bottom of the first inning. Flintridge Prep got off the mat and responded in the top of the second with a run of their own. But since then, it's been nothing but goose eggs, as we're now in the bottom of the 5th. And it'll be the 9, 1, and 2 hitters for the purple and white. RJ Burson leading things off, the shortstop. Thought about bunting momentarily to Richard Pan. Pulled it back, though. Ball 1-0.
Yeah, funny thing for this Prep pitching staff is they had some guys warming up in the bullpen, and, well, after he calmed down in the 3rd inning and has kind of kept his cool, they're deciding to stick with him.
Bunt laid down nicely. Richard Pan had a problem with it. Guns it over to first. Not in time.
And that's a mental mistake by Richard Pan. It's a low ball that's way below his kneecaps, and he decides to go in the backhand. It's a slow drooper. Just got to scoop it up and toss to first, and instead that mental mistake will put a leadoff runner on, and now a chance for St. Anthony to do some damage.
Person has a great set of wheels for St. Anthony's. And they look at what he has done over the course of the season. You might say, well, he hasn't done a whole heck of a lot. Well, the problem with that is Burson hasn't been in the lineup. He broke his wrist earlier in the year, had pins inserted in it, so he's only played 5 games, including today. So not a big body of work. Bunting for a single gets on board. And up next is Grant Granger, the pitcher.
He's got a very far lead coming off the bag at first, and now it becomes a little worrisome for Richard Pan on the mound because now he's got to focus on the runner, considering there's still nobody out.
Cat and mouse game right now. Pan, very deliberate, working from the stretch. Granger, nicely executed sacrifice down the first baseline. Pan, soft toss over to first to record the out, but momentarily, Richard Burson is at second base. And I say momentarily because I would anticipate maybe some more movement on the base pass, but nevertheless, nicely executed by Granger. The sacrifice goes 1-3 on the putout. And now Burson is in scoring position with just one out here in the bottom of the fifth. Ben-Hur, the center fielder, checking in, the left-handed bat. Pitch delivered by Pan, outside just off the plate, 1-0.
Yeah, Hur's already got a base hit today. That came out of the first and was picked off after charging home in that first inning.
1-0 pitch is a fly ball. That's a mile high into right field. Kakawa gets underneath it, tagging and bluffing at that was Burson. He will have to stay at second base. So a nicely executed pitch by Richard Pan, and that is the second out of the inning.
This becomes crucial now. That's a loud and big out number 2 for this Prep defense.
Big out because that ball was not hit far enough, certainly high enough, but not far enough to allow his runner to at least tag up. That's Burson at second base. Up next is Nathan Marquez, the number 3 hitter. Breaking ball that did not have any 12-6 action on it by Pan. 1-0.
You'd expect, though, no matter what, unless the ball's on the ground in the infield, that Burson will be taken off on anything.
Yeah, with 2 outs, he'll be going on contact. Pan trying to dance himself out of this mini jam. That 1-0 pitch, checking the swinging, but not mattering. As Marquez counts even at 1-1. Outfield right now, Kim is deep in left field. Rosenfeld is playing a little bit shallow compared to his normal position in center. And then you have Kakawa in right, coming in just a bit. Pitch is high, 2-1. Got a breeze picking up now, pushing from left to right in the outfield. American flag waving its beautiful red, white, and blue, right center field. Pan checking the runner at second base. 2-1 pitch, swung on and missed. Counts even out 2.
And great throw right down the pipe. Could have lost this batter here. Now he's back in control.
So now if you're Richard Pan, you can throw whatever you want. His out pitch is the splitter. We'll see if he comes with that. Fortunate for him, the runner's not at third base. Pilar giving him signs and time is called. You want to be sure on a pitch like this, because you can have whatever you want in this situation, but if you go 3-2, you might be begged to throw a fastball. Ground ball, hot shot right back to Pan, who knocks it down and calmly throws it over to first base, and the inning is over. So a good piece of pitching by Richard Pan. No runs in the inning, 1 hit, and 1 left on base. The top of 6 we go here at the Plex. It's Flintridge Prep 1 and St. Anthony Saints 1. Cruising right along here in the top of the 6th inning. David Gascon and Manny Nunez. CIF Southern Section Division 6 baseball finals between Flintridge Prep and the St. Anthony Saints. We're locked up at 1. It'll be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters for Flintridge Prep. Working against Grant Granger, who has found himself a pretty good rhythm in the middle half of the ball game. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for St. Anthony's. 1 run, 4 hits, and an error for Flintridge Prep. Hot shot over the shortstop, and climbing the ladder is R.J. Burson for the out. Oh my, what an athletic play by Burson.
That was base hit all over that ball, and R.J. Burson. Check his feet for flubber, because that one was at least about a good 9-10 feet high.
Nice grab by the shortstop, who's not large in stature, but nevertheless, great athleticism right there by Burson to record that out. And Leslie is beside himself as he heads back to the dugout.
I think that's to say the least, David. I mean, he was He was thinking first base, and he was thinking maybe scoring later, but that ended all hopes with that line drive.
Fly ball goes out of play by Cole Pilar, the catcher. And Burson's 5'10". He just went up and grabbed that. Read the ball perfectly right off the bat of Leslie. In a play like that, it's also a bang-bang situation, so if you don't read it right, you're in trouble, and it would have gone into left field for a base hit. That one's shot into the gap. It could be extra bases. Going off the glove of Tucker. A nice backup play by Ben Hur to keep it to a single for Cole Pilar.
And that's a great play, even though obviously it was going to be a base hit anyway, but Dominic Tucker at left field playing as if he's going to let the ball drop anyway. He went around the ball and got in front of it and took away an extra bag, and that's crucial as you go deep into the game.
Up next is Richard Pan, the pitcher, against his counterpart, grabbing a sign from his head coach, Guillermo Gonzalez. We'll see what kind of games they play right now with one out here in the top of the sixth. Goes with the pitch down the right field line. Goldschmidt giving chase. It's about a couple feet off the chalk. I would imagine if it would have been foul or fair territory, Goldschmidt would have dove for that. But if he would have and missed it, oh boy.
That would have been big trouble because, especially down deep in the corner, he's probably running on contact there. He was almost at second base and could have reached the third if anything there. So, again, with all that space down in right field was leaving a lot of gaps down in that corner.
Cole Pilar, the catcher's at first base. Pitch out, maybe, no. Counts even at 1-1. Pan in the game scored the lone run for Flintridge Prep. He's 2 for 2. A double and a single. Trying to go 3 for 3. Pitch bounced to him and a nice save by Palmares. Keeping that ball in front of him. And now Palmares looks to be a little shaken up. Always a nice little bit of gamesmanship when the umpire could help his battery mate behind the plate shake off the cobwebs and the ball gets hit into that special spot. Had an incident yesterday, Manny, in the Boston Red Sox game where a broken bat that was shattered hit a fan. She had some life-threatening injuries. So we got a pinch runner coming on.
You know, funny you say that too. Last week, there was a Padre game that I actually attended last week against Pittsburgh. A shattered bat that nearly speared the third base umpire. It was coming right to him, but lucky for him, he was able to get under it. And these players are becoming more and more athletic, and the speed of the bats, well, they become just as fast as they're coming off. Anything shatters like that, so hopefully with the fan out in the Red Sox game, you know, she does recover, and hopefully that it's nothing more serious than it could be. But you know, really unfortunate for that to happen.
Pickoff attempt not in time. Scott Liu, the pinch runner, is over at first base for Cole Pilar. Scott, that pitch, that one's banged into center field. That's going to be a base hit. So Pan trying to help his own cause. Back-to-back singles for Flintridge Prep here in the top of the sixth inning. This game tied at 1 apiece. They're trying to bust this thing open.
Yeah, first time since the second inning that they've had a runner stand in scoring position. And you go down to the deeper part of the lineup here, 6, 7, and 8, as now the head coach will say that'll be enough for St. Anthony's man and Brent Granger.
We got a pitching change coming up. We'll let you know who that is when we return. Top of the sixth inning, we are at runners at first and second with 1 out. It's Flintridge Prep 1, St. Anthony Saints 1. We'll be back. Back from our momentary pause. Top of the 6th inning, we had a pitching change. It's actually just a battery change. Literally and figuratively speaking. As Palmares, the catcher, the normal catcher, Cody Palmares, goes from behind the plate to on the bump. And Grant Granger, the pitcher, goes from on the mound to behind the plate. Rocking the tools of ignorance. Palmares in the season. This will be his 14th appearance. He started in 6 of the games for St. Anthony's. Has a 2.90 ERA and a record of 7-4. Palmares has done a little bit of everything for head coach Chris Jondal. Now he comes into a delicate situation. Palmares, too, leads the team in innings pitched, 91 2/3 innings. One up against Kim Isaac. Pickoff attempt over at second base, and Scott Lewis hung out to dry. It's the second time in this ball game that a base runner has been picked off at second base. I can understand first base and possibly even third base, but not second base, where you have to have a pitcher turn and pivot and fire. But Lou was picked off. Nice play over at shortstop. Burson's force play over at second base. Gets the runner pan in time, and the inning is over. Well, a change in momentum for St. Anthony's and Flintridge Prep. No runs in inning, 2 hits, and 1 left on base. In the home half of the 6th we go. Flintridge Prep won, St. Anthony Saints won.
To purchase a DVD keepsake of today's event, click on the blue Get the DVD button directly under your event video player. Click the On or Buy a DVD button on the top right-hand corner of the NFHS Network website. Make today's memories last a lifetime with a DVD from the NFHS Network, where we are high school.
David Gascon, Manny Nunez. Back here at the Plex on the campus of UC Riverside. CIF Southern Section Baseball Finals in Division 6. It's been as good as advertised. Flintridge Prep got behind the 8 ball early. They gave them a run in the bottom of the 1st to St. Anthony's. And they calmly responded in the top of the 2nd to get themselves even. And now here we are. Bottom of the 6th, Flintridge Prep. St. Anthony Saints are tied at 1.
The concern, too, that's an inning that the Prep Rebels should have had. And runners at 1st and 2nd, 1 down. And like you mentioned during that play, David, where that pickoff move down at second base that completely caught Cole Pilar off guard. He wasn't even that far off on the bag. He was looking at the defense that was playing in for the bunt position, so he was setting up to be ready to be sacrificed, but all of a sudden you see him just hang around as soon as pitcher turns over to second base, and with that easy pickoff move, well, that took away any opportunity of a big rally. So now we're now at a 1-1 tie going at the bottom of the 6th, and fortunate now for St. Anthony, instead of a run possibly to tie it, now they just need a run to take the lead, so they can use this inning as an opportunity to get it just a run or two, and then hopefully be their last at bats.
Got a pitching change now for Flintridge Prep, as Robbie Leslie, the normal shortstop, is back on the bump. He's considered the team's closer. Big hack and a swing and a miss by the new pitcher, Cody Palmares. Palmares in the game so far. He's 0 for 2. Bangs that one into left center field. It's going to drop in for a base hit.
Now the problem with Robbie Leslie, if you bring in a guy like that, where you had someone who had some off-speed pitches here and there. Now, if you don't have very much of a mix like Robbie Leslie has, he's got very strong fastball, a good slider, but they're very fast balls. So they can sit on the pitch and read them really well. Well, this could be an inning where Prep might begin to struggle.
Johnny Pacheco will come into pinch run for Palmares. Obviously, as you would imagine, a little bit of situational baseball here, given the fact that Palmares a little bit heavier on his feet, I would say, compared to Johnny Pacheco. Pacheco As a freshman, 5'10", 155 pounds, Nick Olguin is now pinch hitting for Tim Johnson, who is the designated hitter.
Well, now the concern goes, since you take out Palmares, he was the man on the mound back in the 6th inning, so he only threw one pitch and got the out, but now see how deep their bullpen can go.
Nice push bunt up the first baseline. Tough play by Schrader, who tags the runner out, Holguin, but moving over to second base is Pacheco. So a nicely executed sacrifice bunt by Nick Holguin.
That's what they needed. If you're a State fan, move that runner down to second base again. You only need one run to take the lead. But now you look to the bottom of the lineup, there's only one hit combined. Correction, 2 hits combined as Dominic Goldschmidt stepping up. Did get a base hit, but was picked off, or rather put out in his last at bat.
Goldschmidt in the contest is 1 for 2. That single came back in the 4th. He also struck out in the 1st. Leslie delivers that pitch. A little signed arm action outside off the plate, 1-0. And Johnny Pacheco on second base. He's pinch running for Cody Palmares, who's singled to lead things off. Bottom of the 6th, Saints and Rebels tied at 1. Pop up in foul territory, giving chase. Flintridge Prep, a nice catch, delivered down the third baseline. And a beautiful one at that, delivered by Flintridge Prep. That was Rosenfeld who came in, make that grab. And now we got 2 outs. That's a costly out for the Saints.
Yeah, unfortunate, even worse to not only get the out in foul grounds, but fail to move the runner down at third base. So now they're going to have to depend on the bat of Derry Garcia, who's 0 for 2 today.
So Darian Garcia grounded to short in the 2nd and lined to short in the 4th. Fans on that one badly fooled. It looked like might have been guessing on that pitch delivered by Leslie. 0-1.
Now Garcia's got to be more selective here, behind the count already, 0-1.
Hamilton Evans, who was the third baseman to start this game off, has now moved over to short. Fly ball into center field. Catch is made, and the inning is over. So after a leadoff single, nothing brewing for St. Anthony as we go to the top of the 7th. We go at the Plex. It's Flintridge Prep 1 and the St. Anthony Saints 1. Welcome back to the CIF Southern Section Baseball Division 6 Finals. David Gascon, Manny Nunez. Will be the 7, 8, 9 hitters for Flintridge Prep. It's the Saints and the Rebels tied at 1 apiece. Aiden Schrader leading things off for the Rebels. First pitch delivered by Cody Palmares, who was lifted for a pinch runner, who comes back into the game. And their first strike at 1-1. No room for error for either of these schools. Schrader trying to get himself loose, fouls that back to the screen, 0-2. I wouldn't say it's the cleanest game for both of these schools, but it has been relatively quick. Ground ball over to Baez. Throws that over to first base. First out of the inning.
It was a slow start for both teams, but they settled down quite nicely. And when you talk about a St. Anthony team who is used to playing in these kinds of depths. They played in 12 and 10 inning games in the corner and semifinals, so they're no strangers to play deep in a ball game.
1 run, 5 hits, no errors for St. Anthony's. 1 run, 6 hits, and an error for Flintridge Prep. Theo Rosenfeld up to bat, the right-handed batter. Trying to get on any way he can. I don't think this will work. Little cue shot over to Baez at second base. Back-to-back routine plays for Baez. 4-3 in the putout, and just like that, we have 2 out.
Again, we flash back to that first inning for St. Anthony offensively. could have been a completely different ball game in terms of the way the Saints had played. Ben-Hur again got out at first, trying to advance on a failed pickoff attempt down at first base from the Prep defense. Again, after that, both teams settled down to near perfection in terms of, well, more so a strategic sense than anything else.
Kendall Kakawa, the number 9 hitter for Flintridge Prep. Trying to get on any way he can. He's 1 for 1 in the contest. Walked back in the second. Singled in the 5th. And that was that. 2-0 pitch, just a little bit high to Kendall. 3-0.
Remember, he was the 1-2 that got on to load the bases. And then a base hit by Cheredick. Hit him right in the back of the leg. That had to keep all the runners back in. That put Cheredick back at first. But again, that completely changed the whole aspect of the game.
Kakawa gave a little bit of a smile to the home plate umpire. Bleeder over to the right side. Baez, this one's coming hard charging for him. Tough play. He makes it, and the inning is over. So all Adrian Baez in the top of the 7th inning. 4-3, 4-3, and then 4-3 on the tougher putout. We go to the home half of the 7th. An opportunity for St. Anthony's to walk off the boys Division 6 baseball finals. We'll be back.
Fans, you're watching live coverage of the Southern Section Baseball Championships on the NFHS Network, or NFHSnetwork.com/CIF Southern Section is your destination for the most comprehensive coverage of Southern Section playoff and championship action. From live games to full game replays to highlights, it's all here on the NFHSnetwork.com/CIF-SS.
Bottom of the 7th inning we go here at the place they call the Plex. Home of the UC Riverside Highlanders. Just completed their first season under new head coach Trey Percival, who knows a thing or two about baseball. A World Series champ with the then Anaheim Angels. It's high school baseball here this afternoon. First pitch was at 3:28 between Flintridge Prep and the St. Anthony Saints. It'll be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for the Saints. Adrian Baez, who had an active top of the 7th inning defensively, squares around to bunt. That one goes up in the air. He's at the mercy of the defense, but nevertheless, nobody could flag that down as Richard Pan is over at third base now. Pan made a nice diving catch in the bottom of the 6th to get Dominic Goldschmidt. 0-1 count delivered by Leslie. A little bit lower, even at 1-1. High cheese swung on and missed. Nice pitch delivered by Leslie going up the ladder. And Baez could not catch it. And Leslie on the season, 4-3 record for Flintridge Prep. Check swing appeal down the first baseline. No swing. As Baez is still alive. Leslie, that 4-3 mark, making his 9th appearance of the season, has a 1.15 ERA. Now the count has run full at 3-2.
Remember, St. Anthony, all they need is 1 to win. They only play 7 innings in high school ball.
Payoff pitch on the way. Baez trying to poke that one out into right center field, but converging on that is Kakawa to make the out.
With how deep the outfield is, in terms of the dimensions, the outfielders are playing to position themselves at least close enough so that they take away the gaps. And on that play right there, the right fielder for Prep and Kikawa gets under it and closes the gap quite nicely to make the routine out number 1.
R.J. Burson, the shortstop, is up to bat now, the number 9 hitter Person in the contest is 0 for 1. Fouls that back to the screen. He was originally credited with a single in the 5th inning as he laid down a bunt, but Richard Pan had bobbed with the ball. So they charged Pan with the arrows, E1. He also walked, did Burson back in the 2nd inning. Breaking ball with no snap on that. Burson's ahead of the count, 2-1. Pan now, who moved from pitching to the infield, is on 3rd base. He's on the infield grass right now. 2-1 pitch on the way. Fastball on the outside corner, knee high. Good delivery by Leslie. Counts even at 2-2.
And these aren't pitches that really would fool much of anyone on a play that's 2-1. You're expecting fastball anywhere in the corner.
2-2 pitch on the way. Burson a little tardy on that. Will stay alive at 2-2. One thing about Leslie, he is all over the plate, very consistent, almost has a strikeout to walk ratio of nearly 4-1. 60 Ks coming to this game and only 17 free passes. Nice little battle brewing here between Burson and Leslie. Outfield playing straight away. Kakawa in right field playing a little bit shallow. Not by much. Evans at short. Sherrody at 2nd base. And then you got Schrader at 1st. And then Pan, the former pitcher, on the high corner, even with the bag. 2-2 pitch on the way, on the hands and also off the foot. It'll look like Burson. I'll have to shake that one out. We'll do it all over again.
Yeah, I gotta like the battle too that Burson's putting up against Leslie. Back-to-back foul balls after looking at that called strike 2. Knowing that Leslie's gonna be throwing strikes pretty consistently here in this at-bat, might as well take control, and he's tip off the ones he wants to shake off, and until he sees that fat one that he can sit on, play patient.
2-2 pitch delivered by Leslie. Looked like a slider, swung on and missed. Down goes Burson for the 2nd out of the inning.
I think that's the pitch that he wanted too, but he swung just a tad bit too early.
Number 9, Grant Granger.
Wasn't able to time it right, and well, with that, we were just 1 out away from Prep, sending this game to extra innings.
We're tied here in the home half of the 7th, 1-1. Flintridge Prep, St. Anthony Saints. On the CIF Southern Section Baseball Division 6 finals. Oddly enough, for both of these schools, they're well under the run premiums that they have delivered over the course of the season. Pitch delivered by Leslie is high. St. Anthony scores at 8 runs per clip. And on the flip side for Flintridge Prep, they're just a little bit under 6. That one's in the face of Granger, the leadoff batter. 3-0.
What makes it even more interesting is that these two teams aren't even the strongest out of the bunch.
3-0 pitch is in there for a strike. Granger taking all the way. Might think about having Leslie duplicate that same pitch. 3-1 delivery on the way. That fastball sails outside, ball 4.
Number 10,
It's exactly what St. Anthony's needed and wanted as a base runner. However, it comes with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. And up next is Ben Hurd, the number 2 hitter, who's already been on base. He singled back in the 1st, then fly to right in the 2nd and in the 5th. That pitch goes right by the catcher, Pilar, and going into 2nd base is Granger. That's going to be a pass ball. And that is certainly costly, as Cole Pilar might have just lost a little bit of concentration. I don't think he got mixed up on the pitches between him and Leslie, but nevertheless, a runner in scoring position here in the 7th for St. Anthony's.
And he was probably worrying about the runner at first.
1-0 pitch is now high.
And if you begin to panic in a time like this, and that's where you see a lot more of these mistakes, and you go deep into this game, and obviously with 1 run looking to win this ball game, you got to just kind of stay as confident as possible.
One swing of the stick could bring the winning run home. That 2-0 pitch is way outside by Leslie. Not the worst thing in the world if he walks her here because first base is obviously open. And he will do just that. That is about as unintentional, intentional walk as I've seen. But now you have a force play at any bag for Flintridge Prep. And up next is the number 3 hitter, Nathan Marquez.
And you look at the stats here overall. In terms of the way that they've gone out, 1 strikeout, a sac bunt, and 3 flyouts.
Marquez came into this contest batting .400 for St. Anthony's. He had 14 doubles and a couple of homers. He has some pop, certainly the club leader in RBIs with 28. And he wants to bring his team home right now.
And that had base hits swinging all over that one as Nathan Marquez just a little under that ball. Got another chance here.
Tim Johnson second on the team with runs driven at 22, so it is all on the shoulders right now of Marquez. Marquez, 6'1", 175-pound senior, would love to end his high school playing days with a walk-off single in a championship game. That breaking ball is a nice one by Leslie over the heart of the plate in there for a strike. It's 1-2.
And that ball should have been swung. It was right down the pipe, even though it curled in.
All the action right now is at the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. The pitch on the way, back-to-back breaking ball, swung on and missed. Leslie pumping his fist, and he is fired up. No runs in the inning, no hits, 2 left on base. We go to the extra innings. Top of the 8th, we go here at the Plex. It's Flintridge Prep 1, the St. Anthony Saints 1. Extra inning affair. We are at the Plex on the campus of UC Riverside, CIF Southern Section, Division 6 finals of baseball. It's Flintridge Prep 1, St. Anthony Saints 1. And it'll be the 1, 2, and 3 hitters for the Rebels.
Number 2, Daniel Sherry.
And Danny Sherry leading things off, the left-handed batter. Trying to get 1 run across, at least 1. Against Cody Palmares, who's up on the bump now. Sherry guns that one into center field, but Herr had a beat on it, almost actually sailed over his head. And Sherry grabbed his helmet momentarily and thought, oh man, would have been off the races. But Herr records the out.
Yeah, for not the first time that Ben Herr has misplayed the ball, as he had a base hit earlier from Richard Pan that went over his head.
Certainly quite the affair for Herr, needless to say. He's made it a little dramatic at different times. Hamilton Evans now will try his luck. Hamilton moved over from third base to short. In the contest, he walked in the first, then popped up to short, and flying to center in the 5th. He's 0 for 2.
Yeah, center field's playing way deep for the number 3 hitter. Even left field, a little more shallow, so to speak.
1-1 pitch on the way. He yanks that one down the third baseline, does Evans. 1-2. It's one thing that's nice. You see some of these high school players, at least all of them, look at those knee-high stirrups. St. Anthony's, the Saints, rocking the purple and white. Flintridge Prep. The Rebels, Palmares won that strike 3 called. He made his delivery, then walked off the mound like his counterpart was going to be punched out. It was not the case. It's 2-2. So Palmares back on the rubber. That pitch goes high, 3-2.
Now at this point, after losing that potential 3rd strike call, so there's a chance to at least kind of go 1, 2, 3 if he can take down Leslie.
Palmares kicks and fires. That one's hot on the button. Could drop down for a base hit, and it does. Ben-Hur in center field was shaded a little bit more to the left, but he was playing deep enough, or despite the fact that Evans hit the ball hard, it was coming down. Hur could not dive at that one. It would have been disastrous if he would have missed it, so he was cautious with that. 7th base hit of the game for Flintridge Prep. And up next is Robbie Leslie, the pitcher. Ground ball, third base line, but just going foul. As Leslie was doing a little Tiger Woods impression in the bottom of the 7th. He struck out Nathan Marquez to end the inning. After he had runners at first and second, gave a thunderous fist pump. That ball is pulled into left field. That's going to be a base hit. Hamilton Evans, who was at first base, momentarily paused because it was a line drive, but Burson had no chance on that. So back-to-back singles in the top of the 8th for Flintridge Prep. And up next is Cole Pillar.
For Leslie, his first hit of the game, too. Lined out to center and short back in the 1st and the 6th. So it was only fitting, and he was pretty much due to get one on. It's now a chance for the Rebels. Yet again, they've got a man in scoring position, but they need to find a way to capitalize. They have yet to do so since that 2nd inning where they brought their lone run of the game.
Palmeiras trying to bail down right now. Pitch is outside to Cole Pillar, 1-0. Pillar in the game, he grounded into a 6-3 double play in the 1st, flied out to center in the 3rd, and then singled in the 6th, but the runner that came in to pinch run for him, Scott Liu, got picked off at second base. Fastball is a little high and outside, 2-0.
Yeah, that was costly too. When you consider how the defense was positioned on that play. It was caught napping, and he was about only 3 feet off the bag, but just jumped to the bag way too late.
Time called. Evans is at second base. He's singled. Leslie is at first base. He's singled. Nathan Marquez, the first baseman, is not holding him on. He's playing behind the runner at first base. Fastball away. Ball 3, 3-0.
So now at this point here for St. Anthony, the last thing you want to do is have anyone make mistakes. And right now already at 3-0. You would kind of maybe predict if Pillar's going to get the green light here on 3-0 if it's a fat one.
3-0 pitch on the way, and that one's high. Ball 4. So this all started back when Cody Palmeiras thought that he had a strikeout to Hamilton Evans. Then he gave up a single to Evans. Leslie right behind him did the same exact thing, and now the bases are juiced for Flintridge Prep and Richard Pan. Big hack by the former pitcher and now third baseman Pan. 1-0, or 0-1, excuse me.
Hardest out to get. He's a perfect 3 for 3 with a double and 2 singles.
Seeing the ball well is Pan, obviously. And now they're going to call a block.
Wow.
Any way you could get a runner home, you'll certainly take it. And Cody Palmeiras, the wheels have certainly fallen off the wagon here for him. He boxed home a run, and Flintridge Prep is leading now. It's 2-1.
I don't believe what I just saw. I mean, as mental as you could possibly get on that play, I don't believe that he held on to that ball. Wow.
Palmeiras working from the stretch. Infield is up. 0-1 pitch is outside, 1-1.
And I think he knew who was at the plate, too. I think this guy knew in Palmeiras that this is an out that he's going to have a really hard time getting.
So 1-1 pitch on the way to Pan. Skies that one out to right field. Goldschmidt gets underneath it. Could have a play at the plate. Runner coming home is Leslie. The throw, it's not in time. And that's an insurance run, and a big one at that for Flintridge Prep. And their dugout is screaming and cheering right now because they have an extra marker. It's 3-1 Flintridge Prep.
And you know what? If it comes down to it, if St. Anthony does pick up a run, you go back to the balk, obviously. I mean, words can't really describe, in all honesty, that type of play. And you know, these kids are high school athletes, and you obviously learn from your mistakes, but you know, when you're under the pressure cooker in a play like that, that just becomes all that difficult.
RBI number 17 for Penn. Now the appeal over to third base to check and see if Leslie might have left the bag early. He did not. And a fan base for St. Anthony's that was loud and boisterous throughout this contest has been calmed down quite a bit. As now is all Flintridge Prep right now. As Johnny Pacheco swinging the stick for Isaac Kim. That one's sliced down the third baseline. That was a dangerous one at that.
So now with Prep here on top, big thing is what can they do to hold on to lead in the bottom half?
That's Jack Ensminger. Ensminger getting his first look for Isaac Kim, who got injured. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ensminger. Runner at third base, it's Cole Pilar. 1-2 pitch skied down the left field line, out of play. Ensminger staying alive. Crazy turn of events here for Flintridge Prep as Ensminger tied up on that. A little bit of a handcuff, but down he goes. Strikeout will end the inning, but the damage has been done. 2 runs in the inning for Flintridge Prep off of a couple hits, 1 left on base. At the bottom of the 8th we go. It's the last stand for St. Anthony's. It's the Rebels 3, Saints 1.
You know, the Greek philosopher Aristotle said, you are what you repeatedly do. But in our book, we say you are what you repeatedly do when things get hard. When you look at the naysayers and the haters, and there's a million of them, but you take it upon yourself to erase all doubt. Get that doubt out of here. So my apologies to Aristotle, but excellence doesn't become a habit by running the same path over and over. The excellent ones just step up to the line and ask, what's the record? Under Armour, get your feet straight.
The most heart-stopping, game-changing, eye-turning moments in high school sports. Under Armour highlights of the week on the NFHS Network.
David Gascon, Manny Nunez welcome you back to the Plex on the campus of UC Riverside. Bottom of the 8th we go. We're in extra innings. The CIF Southern Section Division 6 baseball championships between the Flintridge Prep Rebels and the St. Anthony Saints. Rebels lead this one 3-1. And up right now is Cody Palmares. Palmares, the pitcher who balked home the go-ahead run in the top of the 8th, is trying to redeem himself. It'll be Palmares, Nick Olguin, and Dominic Goldschmidt are the order. Palmares bangs that one in the left field, and it's exactly what St. Anthony's needs, a leadoff base runner trying to climb right back into this contest. Palmares in the contest up to that point was 1 for 3, and now he's 2 for 4.
Now at this point here, if you're a Rebel fan, this becomes more of a mind game than any part of this ball game.
Tim Johnson, who started the game off as the designated hitter, is now back into the lineup. Johnson is second on the team in runs driven in. With 22, he's got a little bit of power, 7 doubles, but also 1 home run. Looks at the first pitch, ball, 1-0.
Well, I'm not sure if a home run's going to happen here, but he's got just enough power to maybe hit it deep down to the park and maybe bring in at least a run.
High cheese, swung on and missed. Nice location by Leslie. Can't get hurt up there. Counts 1-1.
Yeah, can't get too picky either. I mean, that's a ball that should have been left alone.
Palmares over at first base, not a harmful lead at that. And Johnson fouls that back to the screen. It's 1-2.
And this is where you look back to that last pitch that was swung on and missed. Could be a 2-1 count. Now instead, Tim Johnson has to protect the plate.
Leslie is the designated closer for Flintridge Prep, trying to do just that. And that 1-2 pitch just missed the outside corner. It's even at 2-2.
Palmares taking off the straps, and I think he's eyeing second base. He's going to do so here, possibly on this 2-2 count.
Decent lead, but not a big one at that. And that pitch hits Johnson right in the rib cage, and he'll take his base. Leslie looks at the home plate umpire to say, hey, Johnson didn't move out of the way. Well, a little bit difficult for Johnson to do that because he's bearing down on a fastball. He'll wear it, and wear it proudly. He'll go back to the dugout, and coming in a pinch run for him is Hector Lopez. So we got runners at first and second, nobody out in the bottom of the 8th inning, with Flintridge Prep clinging to a 2-run lead. It's 3-1.
Yeah, this becomes big, like we mentioned. Prep had that 3-1 advantage after picking up a few runs, but now this time around, things do change a little bit as now you're trying to hold on to the lead somehow, but now mistakes are coming aplenty.
Goldschmidt ground ball over to Sherady, flips it over to Evans. Evans' only play is tag in the bag, but it still keeps the double play in play. First out of the inning. 1 out, runners at first and third now.
Yeah, Cheridick was just carefully throwing the ball down to the shortstop to make at least 1 out. So at the very worst, you don't want to commit any more mistakes. Just get the shirt out at the very least. The more important run, the tying run, standing 3 bags away.
Darian Garcia up next. Ground ball up the middle. Goes over the glove of Sherady into center field for a base hit. In to scores Palmares, and it's now 3-2 Flintridge Prep.
Number 6, Adrian Baez.
That was a tough play for Sherady to make. He tried to do it, was positioned correctly, but had a late jump on it. And Sherady is only at 5'6", the sophomore. Could not sky up to grab it. Up next is Adrian Baez, the second baseman. Got a runner in scoring position. Leslie delivers the pitch in there for a strike, 0-1.
Yeah, fortunate for the Rebels here. You're in double play depth. You want a ground ball around that area between second and short.
Pitch is down the dirt. Nice save, though, by the catcher, Pilar.
And that's a play that's a stop that you teach. Cole Pilar was moving perfectly to the ball, knowing that it's going to bounce off the ground, and with that, holding the runners at their own backs.
Goldschmidt is at second base. Garcia's at first. The 1-1 pitch, outside corner, strike 2. So for Leslie, it's quite simple. You're up a run, and all you need to do is worry about the action at the plate. A ground ball ends this game because it could be an inning double play. That pitch is low. Ball 2, 2-2. The most important thing, though, is making sure that that runner at first base does not get into scoring position, because that would be the game-winning run. Leslie getting a sign from Pilar. Kicks and fires that 2-2 pitch. I don't know where that missed. It was just off the plate. Ball 3. Count runs full at 3-2.
Just about every Prep fan in this building, they were dancing in their shoes. He's got to see for one more pitch. Wow.
So Baez gets a 9th life. Payoff pitch on the way. That fastball is high. Ball 4.
Oh, me, oh, my.
So the St. Anthony Saints fan base was muted in the top of the 8th. They have woken up in support of their team. Bases are bleeding purple and white. 3-2 Flintridge Prep, and up next is R.J. Burson, who could be the hero. Burson was the hero just a couple of days ago for St. Anthony's. An extra inning double brought home 2 to win that game for the Saints. He looks at the first pitch in there for a strike. Nice delivery by Leslie. 0-1. Quite the predicament for Burson, who will talk to his head coach, Chris Johnell. I would imagine that Johnell tells him right now, hey, you got an out to play with. You don't need to hit the ball anywhere particular, but get it out of the infield, and you could get a run home. Don't do too much with it.
Well, the corners are going to be in, and I think the second and shortstops are obviously positioned for the double play, but that all-important tying run stands 90 feet away.
Runners at first, second, and third. Bases juiced on a breaking ball. Nice one at that by Leslie. He's in control now. It's 0-2.
And that should have been swung right there. I mean, it was screaming. It was asking to be hit. Burson's now behind here with at least one pitch to go.
Schrader at first base is even with the bag. Pan at third base is even on the grass. 0-2 pitch, just staying alive was Burson. He was tardy on that fastball. Leslie could have him guessing just a little bit, still 0-2. Dominic Goldschmidt is at third base. Darian Garcia is at second, and Adrian Baez is at first base. Flintridge Prep 3, St. Anthony Saints 2. Payout pitch on the way. Burson wanted to wear that one. Just barely gets out of the way. He got out of the way and stuck his bicep out at the same time. Wasn't fooling anybody about that. It's 1-2.
And I think even if he got hit, I think the umpire kind of told him that since you kind of turn into the ball, we're going to let that one go.
Leslie kicks and fires. That 1-2 pitch just off the plate, ball 2. That is almost the same location that Leslie delivered on the 2-2 pitch to Adrian Baez and got neither call. Getting squeezed a little bit. As a right-hander, 2-2 pitch on the way. Fastball on the hands, popped up in the infield. Coming on that is Sherity, but Evans calls him off. Infield fly rule in effect anyway. But now has an expensive out because it's now 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Last call for the Saints. And up next is Grant Granger. Granger in the contest walked in the first, struck out in the second, sacrificed in the 5th, and then walked in the 7th. He is 0 for 1. No room left. Leslie delivers, and he pops him up in a shallow right field coming out the second baseman, Sherity, who makes the catch, and the game is over. The Flintridge Prep Rebels win this thing in extra innings, beating the St. Anthony Saints 3-2 in the CIF Southern Section divisional round of the playoffs. The championship game goes to the Rebels as they jump and dogpile on their closer, Robbie Leslie. Quite a performance from both of these schools. The Rebels were rewarded 3 runs off 8 hits and 1 error. For the Saints, 2 runs off 7 hits and no errors. The big costly runs came in the top of the 8th inning, where Hamilton Evans was blocked home, and then Robbie Leslie was sacrificed home by Richard Pan. Quite the performance from both of these schools, but in the end, it was Flintridge Prep coming up clutch, win the CIF Southern Section Division 6 baseball championships.
Yeah, clutch indeed, David. And as we talked about earlier, back in that 8th inning, you go back to the run that was earned to give the Rebels the lead. Well, they conceded that run back, but again, that difference beating the balk, unfortunately, really cost St. Anthony a chance to at least tie, maybe send it to the 9th.
Well, that's going to do it here from the Plex on the campus of UC Riverside, where the St. Anthony Saints came up a buck short. They fall to the Flintridge Prep Rebels. Final score this afternoon is 3-2. It's the Rebels, the CIF Southern Section Division 6 champions. We'd like to thank you for joining the NFHS Network's coverage of CIF Southern Section baseball this afternoon. For Manny Nunez and also Blake Fogg, I am David Gascon. Be sure to check out the NFHS Network for more live and on-demand content, along with highlights from across the country. We hope you'll join us again next time on the NFHS Network. We are high school. Good afternoon, everybody.
Awards.